Okay, I think we can start now. I hope that all of you guys have imported the environment, so you can load the environment and like load Jupyter notebook. So activate your environment. So I will check on my environment list and activate the environment. So and go into your working directory as well. So now I will share you the file that we are going to discuss today, like Python syntax, because before we go with any libraries, we have to know about some Python programming knowledge, like how to create a variable and these kind of things. So we will use this file to discuss. So you can open this notebook. So if we talk about the Python, last time we discussed, it's a programming language. In programming language, typically what we have like some syntax. We will use some syntax, and then we have some data structures and type of data. So you need to familiar with these things, and then operators that we are going to use for different functions, and the controlling for those structures, like how to create the function and what's the meaning of the function, and these things, and then how to recycle a code in Python. So I hope you all have opened this notebook file. So we will discuss this file today. Otherwise, you can start typing the file by yourself, creating the file, because we discussed how to do the markdown and do the code blocking yesterday. Now you guys know how to manage the environment. Then you know about like Jupyter Lab. Now you need to know about Python before going with the libraries. Okay, if you all have opened this file, you can go into the top. I will use the navigator. That's why I say, like last time we discussed about markdown. See, if I need to go for a section, it's easy for me to browse through this navigation panel in here, which is like table of content. If I use here, I can like navigate easily inside my script. So that's why we discussed about like markdown cells yesterday. So in this one, the main objective is to give a simple introduction to Python and the essential syntax and the data type and structures and logical operators. You need to know about these things before going with any programming language. So we discuss about these things. It's also like Python is also similar to Ruby, Perl, PHP, and MATLAB and R. Not like C, C++, and Java or Fortran. So we use this one because of its simplicity and expressive and powerful thing, and like all the libraries were included for this one. So to load the philosophy, like this is an inbuilt function. If you type import.this, it will give something like this. This is the philosophy of the Python. One poetry that you can load. It's just a small function. You don't need to worry about this one. And then next you need to know the suffix of Python. What is the suffix? If it is a document, Word document, what's the suffix? How we can identify? If it is a Word document, at the end we will see dot doc or docx. Then what's the suffix we are using for Python script? .py. So if you see if any file at the end, if you see .py, that means it's a Python script. So this one is like how to create the environment. You don't need to worry, because if you type in the Anaconda prompt, when you type Conda env list, this is what you will see. You will see the directory. See, users Dinesh, then Conda env-IMSA. So that's it. If you are using Ubuntu or Linux based environment, you will see your environment in this folder. But if you are using Anaconda, you will see your programs in this environment. So the other thing, last time we discussed, we use hash mark for the markdown cells to demarcate headings. But when it comes to a coding cell, we will use hash mark to do commenting. So you know commenting, what commenting means. When you are typing a code, if you need to give someone an idea about the code, you can like give a small comment over there. So here, what we are going to do is simply create an Python script file and save it using the code block. So if you execute this one, what will happen? The main function name is write file to print upper.py. That means we will create, if we at the end, if we execute this file, what will happen? It will create an file where you save this folder. So in here, there should be a file named print upper.py at the end. So for this one, what we are going to import, we will import the system library. So this one is an inbuilt library. If you need to work with Windows system or like any system or like operating system, you need to navigate or browse the file, you need to import sys module. This is a part of Python standard library. And then what we will use from sys.argv. What does it mean? Can you like identify? This is a function. So how we can see the like docstring of the function? Yesterday we discussed about 3 methods. So someone can try to use the docstring and say, answer me, what is the meaning of this argv? So we discussed three ways. Yesterday we discussed 3 ways on viewing a docstring file of any kind of function. So simply if we load sys dot and tab, if we say, so how we can view the docstring of this function? We discussed several methods to view the docstring. Yeah, if we put a question mark and then we can see. If the docstring is there, then we can see the name. If we type like question mark and the in. So let me type this command in upper cell. So I'm not going to execute the entire command. So it will give the docstring. Built-in mutable equals. If no argument is given, the constructor create a new empty list to create an argument. So what we are going to create? We are going to create an empty list. So the main part, this function we will use to create an empty list. So we discussed three methods on like viewing this doc history. So you need to remember this one. And then what we will do is we will join map with string. So the main function that what we are going to create is what that function will do. If we call for this script, it will capitalize any letters in a string that we are going to provide. So that's the main purpose of this function. So it will join and like go with each map, like what we call the string, each element, and it will try to capitalize if it is a letter, and at the end it will print the uppercase letters. So you can execute. This is a simple Python script. This is just a simple Python script. So if you execute this cell using Shift Enter, you will see Python upper.py file is created in the place where you saved your notebook file. So you can open this one. Now you will see this is the typical Python script. So you see the extension .py and then the function name. So this is a typical Python script, not a notebook file, because in notebook, what's the extension of a notebook file? So if we are discussing about the extension of notebook files, you will see two type of files are there. So here, this one is a Jupyter notebook file, and this one is a Python script file. So at the end, you will see .py in the Python script files, but if it is a Jupyter notebook, what's the extension you will see? .ipynb. So that's the difference between these two file types. And then you can go back into the code, and then this one is a simple command like directory. If we need to view the directory, like last time we discussed, if you need to view a directory in Windows command shell, what's the command we are using? dir. If you type dir, you can see all the files and folders in the current directory. So how we can use this same feature inside the Jupyter notebook? If you need to use the same feature in the like inside of a Jupyter notebook, you can type dir. But in here we will give a specific symbol. So if we type only this one, exclamation mark and .dir and shift enter, what will happen? It will show us all the files and folders inside the current directory. So right now my current directory is this place. So under this place we have these folders and files. So now I give a specific command in here, .star.py. So what will it do? So now I need to filter. I don't want to show all the files and folders in that directory. I only need to see whether there's a .py file in the directory or not. So star mean all .py files. In this directory, show me all .py files. So if I run this one, it will show me only the py file. So you can do a simple example. Now you can try to do a simple example. So how I can see the Jupyter notebook files in this directory? What's the command I have to use? You only need to modify in a single place. You can try to modify this one. So where should I need to modify? Where do I have to modify this one? To get the output, what should I have to modify? I only need to view the Jupyter notebook files in directory. So we need to give the extension of Jupyter notebook. So the extension is, so if you forget the extension, you can go back into the directory and see. So the extension of Jupyter notebook file is ipynb. So if I type .inb and shift enter, it will show me the Jupyter notebook file inside that directory. So you can try to do the same thing in your like notebook file as well, the file that I have given to you. So now we know that in that directory we have .py file. Now we will try to call for this function inside our Jupyter notebook file. So if we need to call for like Python script file inside our Jupyter notebook, we can use the exclamation mark, then the Python. So the guys who are familiar with Python, they know when we need to execute something in Python, the structure is Python, then the script file name. Then if we are going to provide an input or output, we have to give them with the separation of the space. So what we are going to do here, so now we are going to call for the function which we saved earlier. So the function name is print upper.py. So we will call Python interpreter, and then we will say, okay, read this script file, and this is the input. Just you can type anything in here in simple or capital. So we say we created this script for what? If we feed any kind of thing into this script, what will it do? It will capitalize. Whatever the string or the word that we are going to give, it will capitalize. So now we are calling for that function, that script file, and then we are saying, okay, capitalize this word. So if you shift enter, what will happen? So let me clear the output. You can see the like output from the cells. So at the end, what will happen? If I type something in here, what will happen? If I type Nanjing, what will happen? The final output, what will I get at the finally? If I execute this command, all the letters in Nanjing will be, it should be capitalized. So you can try to execute this one. See, it's capitalized. Even if I type one letter in capital form, it will capitalize the rest of the letters. So this is how we are typically using Python scripts. And then if we type something like this, even we can give multiple, like a huge, like long line. If we give a long sentence like something, anything, or like 1, 2, 3, it will capitalize the entire thing. It will capitalize. No matter what you are going to give, it will capitalize. So because we create this function specifically focusing to capitalize the letters. So that's how you can create functions. We will discuss about this one later. Now you need to know about variables. How we can create a variable. In previous like Google Earth Engine session, we discussed how to create the variables. In the software training part 2, GIS training, we discussed how to create the variables. So in here also we have to know how to create variables in Python. So there are some restrictions. We have to give some meaningful names when we are declaring the variables, because you are the one who are going to use your script. You should be know about your variables, what you are going to give, and that you are going to give. When you are giving the variable names, it can contain only letters and numbers, and if there is a separation, there should be the underscore mark, and must not given by any number, and also avoid Python reserved names. So that means if we say something, if we say, okay, I need to create a variable 4 equals 3, will it happen? Because in Python we have 4 is a reserved word for the looping. So if we type 4 equals 3, it will not execute because it's saying like invalid syntax, because we have the for loop inbuilt into the Python. Even we cannot use while equals 6 or something, because while is also a looping function. So we cannot use. So you can execute these commands. Then you will see that you cannot execute, actually is giving errors. And then the operators. So now what we are going to do, we can create something like a variable a equal 5. So then if we call for a, yesterday I discussed, before I print, I can see these variables, where I can see these variables which I have loaded inside the script. Yesterday I discussed when I am discussing about the Jupyter Lab, these 2 bug icons. If you remember, if you enable this bug icon and click on here, in this side you will see function variable, all the function variable. Till now we only loaded one variable. You can see a equal 5 is over there. So now if we need to view it in our notebook file, we can simply call for our variable name. If I type a, it should give me 5. So the next thing, if I type something like this, Now I type a equal a star 2. What will happen? What will happen? So now you know the value of a. A is 5, and then it should be multiplied by 2. So how it's going is like it's going from left to right, right to left. So it will do this calculation first and then reassign the value to a. Now what will be the new value of a? So it will be 10. And now if I execute something like this, what will happen? A equal a plus 2. So these are very basics in Python. And then b equal 8. So if I type something like this, what will happen? B plus equal. If I type b plus equal to, what will happen? Is like the simplest form of this one. Just plus is like the, if you expand this one, it means a equal a plus 2. So what should be the output now? Right now that the in we have 12. So 12 plus 2 is 14. So we should get 14. And then now a star equal 2. So now what will happen? A equal a multiplied by 2. It should be what's the value? 28. Now a equal a star 2. Again, this is the extension form of this equation. So I am not going to execute this one. So what will be the value of a? 28. So now 2 stars. We discuss about this one. For star mark, what we are using the star mark for? If it is a markdown cell, star mark is for what? Only star mark without 2 stars. If you use one single mark, star mark and type something, what will happen? No, one single star. To italic, it should be like 2 stars. If you only type one star mark and like type something, what will happen? You can try to do the same thing in the code. Try to create a code cell in here underneath using this one, and you can type and change this one into markdown cell and see. If I type star, then type something, what will happen? It's going to create a list. If you use this one in markdown, it will be a list. But in Python scripting, star is multiplication. So if we use double stars, what will happen in Python scripting? If you use double stars, what will happen? If you know, if you are familiar with what we call you all did the maths, no? If we need something like this, we need 2 stars. If we need to get a power or something, exponential value, we will use 2 star marks. So now I'm going to create a new variable, x equal 2. So now the value of x will be 2. Now how many variables I created? So how I can see all the variables I created? Simply I need to view in here. So how many variables I have? I have a, b, and even x. So now I will see the value of x. Now if I type x 2 star marks 3, what will happen? 2 to the power 3. So it should be 8. And then if I type it again, x equal x to the power 2. So that means 8 to the power of 2 should be new x. If I see, it should be is coming as 2. Yeah. So now instead of getting the power like this, we have an inbuilt command. Now this is an inbuilt command. So what's the docstring of this one? That's why I say if you need to know a function docstring, if the docstring is there, you can simply click the cursor at the end of the function and hit shift tab. Then it will give the docstring file. So what's the signature? So the signature you can see it should be like power POW. Then within bracket you have to give the base and the exponential value and the mode. If it is none, it's okay. It's equivalent to base 2 star exponential with 2 arguments. So you can type something like this. So if I execute this one, what will happen? So base is 2 and power is exponential power is 4. So at the end, what should be the output? 2 to the power 4, 60. So these are like inbuilt commands that and like syntax we will use for different kind of operators. And then we have the division. We discuss about addition, subtraction, multiplication, and now we need to discuss about division. So how to get the division? If we type something like this, what will happen? 9 divided by 5, it will give us 1.8. But if we type something like this, what will happen? 1 double backslashes, then divide by 5. What will happen? It will give us only the integer value. So it's not going to round up. If we round up this one, it should be 2. But it's showing us 1. It's not rounding up. It's just omitting the second value and only giving the integer part of that number. And then the data types. You need to know about the data types that we are going to use inside the Python. So we have different type of data. If we go into the notebook file, if I discuss how many data types are there, float, integers, then complex numbers and booleans, and then strings, list, tuples, then list compression, and the most important thing, dictionaries. This is the most important thing. We will use like dictionaries when it comes to Panda and we are playing with the data. We need to know about the dictionaries. So now we will discuss about the type of data and the data structures in Python. Now previously we say like okay, x equal 2. Now if we type x equal 2.0, what will happen? So type function, we can use the type function. Before I execute this cell, you can see the type function. What is the purpose of type function? It will show us the type of the data of that the variable that we are going to pass. If I execute this one, what's the you can anyone guess? If you know about, if you are familiar with this Python scripting or anything, you should be know. Now I didn't execute this x, but previously I assigned a value for x. So if you go in here and see the value, it's like 4. So if I execute this one now, what should I get? It should be integer, because if I execute, it's giving me as int. That means it's an integer. But right now I am going to change this one. Reassign the value using x equal 2.0. If I do this one, now what's the value of x? Is 2.0. It should be float. So if we type instead of if we type like 2.0, we can type like x equal 2 point. If we type x equal 2 point, what will be the type? Float. So now you know if we need to assign a floating value for any function. For the division also, divisions, multiplication, if we need to go with floating numbers, we need to assign the variable for the floating point. So there are two methods of assigning variables like the float values. 2.0, like we can give the number that you need, then the point, and then the decimal places. And the other way is you can simply say x equal the number, then give the point. It will automatically convert into a floating data type. So if you type x equal 2 to the power, that means this is the short format. You know, if you are calculating any function, you know 2e5 mean what? What's the meaning of 2e5? This is like 2, then the decimal places should be 5. E is like showing the number of decimal places. If you calculate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's like 2000. The simplest form of 2000, if you go with the numbering, it will be 2000. If I type this one like 2 e to the power 10, that means it should give me 10 decimal places in the number. If I execute, you will see the large number. So that means you don't need to type the entire thing. If you need to type like 10,000 or something, you don't need to type 10,000. You can simply type 1E4. Then it will automatically type it as that value, and it will be also floating. This one, if you need -10, for the minus values, you have to multiply this one. You can go with the division if you need minus values. Then we have to discuss about integer numbers. If we say like x equal to x, this one is integer. Last time we discussed. Then type x, it should be integer. Now we are reassigning the value 2.7. It should be 2.7. Now the type should be float. So the simple meaning of this one is we can reassign different type of data into a variable, simple variable. But what will happen? It will replace the value and as well as the date type. If we perform a equation like this, at the first step we assign x equal to, so now value of it is like 2. If I open this one again and see, if let me run this one, and then now if I go here, I cannot see the variable type or anything, but the value of x is 2 and the type of data is integer. Now if I type x equal 2.7, that means it's replacing. Right now we have a value for x, but if we execute this one, it will replace both value and the data type. That's the main point that you need to remember. Now it have been changed. The value will be like 2.7 and the data type will be float. And then if I call int x, what will happen? Int x. So you can view the docstring. I don't need to show this one. If you see the docstring of int x, it will show convert a string number into a floating point number if possible. So now we should be give the integer part of the value. That means the actual value of x is 2.7, but if we type something like int x, it will give the integer part of that number. So for more information, you can see, you can click on this link and you can see more information regarding these things. So if we type 2 stars into 64, what will happen? 2 to the power 64. So then if we type something like this, print e dot format x, what will happen? Scientific number of that exact value is giving us with the scientific format. So next one is complex numbers. Now what if we need something like, for the equations we will use something like this, no? 2 equal x equal 2 plus 3j or something we need to type. So if we type something like this, we need to assign the complex numbers in between 2 double quotation marks. What? Yeah. Two double star and 2e5. So 2e5 mean, if you type something like 2e5, this one mean what? The number of decimal places that you need. So not the power. This is not the power. This is just the number of decimal places. So the first number will be, if like 2 to the power e, 1 mean what? 2 to the power e, 0 mean what? You can try to execute this command and see. Just type this one and like see in your terminal. It will be like 2. Then if we type 5, that means we need to add 5 decimal places, and at the end we will put the dot. But if we type 2, then double star 5, this means 2 to the power 5. So that's the difference between these two. And then for the complex numbers, if we need to assign a complex number, then we need to type the complex number in between 2 double quotation marks. This is just the demarcation. When you need to demarcate any complex number, you have to demarcate it in like variable name, then equal complex number in between 2 double quotation marks. So if you see the number, it will give you the data type, it will give you as a string. So now if you need to type a complex number, you can type this command as well. What will happen? You can use the docstring. That's why I'm saying, like, every time this is like much more useful. Within this docstring is the useful of this Jupyter Lab environment. So if you see, it will give a number, string or numbers. So if I execute this one and see, now it's converted into a complex number. So even in this this side, it is showing me as x. Now it's a complex. X equal complex. If the data type of the x is complex. Now next one is booleans. Whether it's like on or off. This means true or false. So if we type x equal true, it will automatically convert it into boolean type. So in boolean we only have two types, true and false. Nothing else, only true or false. If we type this one, type x, now it will give us bool. So that means it's boolean data type. So now if we reassign x equal 1, what will be the type? Now the data and everything will be replaced, it will be int. If it is boolean, it should be like true, not like x equal 1. In like demarcation, we will say true should be 1 and false should be 0. But when you are assigning, you cannot type x equal 1. If you type x equal 1, it will be an integer. So x equal 2 mean false. Why we are using equal sign? If we type something, x equal 2. What's the purpose of this one? Is asking whether the value of x is equals to 2. So we get the output as false. So it check. Actually, what's the value of x right now? 1. So now it's checking whether 1 equals 2. It's not. So it's giving output as false. But if we reassign this one to 2 and execute this one, what will be the output? It should be true. And then y equal. Then now what we are asking? Now we are saying create a variable y equal. In this part, what we are doing? We are creating the variable y and now assigning the value of this function. What's the value of the final output of this function? Y. We are assigning x equal 1. What's the output of x equal 1 right now? It false, because right now the value of x is 2. It should be false. Then the value of y should be boolean false. So next one, if we type something like this, what will happen? Within like box brackets, we assign like true, false, true. Now it's converted into a list. So what's the main thing that you need to understand? If you need to create a list, you need to use this box bracket. We will use box bracket when we creating lists. In between this one, we need to separate list items using commas. So now if we say like, okay, sum of x, what will happen? It's giving us 3. Why? Sum mean, what's the purpose of this function? Return the sum of start to in value and interval to between like the entire list. It's going through the entire list and like getting the summation. So first value is true, second value is true, that means 1, third value is false, 0, and last value is true, that means 1. So 3 ones are there. The addition of these 3 values should be 3. So if we type false in here, what will happen? You need to type this one. Otherwise, next time I will not give you the notebook file. You will have to type it by yourself. So if I execute this one, what should be the value? It should be 2. Then we have strings. So string is when we need to demarcate a string, we need to use either single quotation mark or double quotation mark. If we execute this one, what's the purpose of this one? We use print. First we assign sentence equal this. Now if you go into this one, you will see there should be a value named sentence. So it's showing us the value of sentence variable. It should be this entire string. So now if we need to print this one, we can print, you like within bracket we can say print sentence. So it will show us the value of that variable. Next one also we can type double quotation mark. If you type in between double quotation mark, it will also be a string. Last time we discussed, when you need to type a complex number also, you need to use double quotation mark. But the thing is, you have to type numbers in there. So next one is like sentence, the same thing, triple quotation mark. You can use either triple quotation marks as well. So why we are using triple quotation mark? If we have some additional quotation marks inside the string that we are going to pass, we need to put triple quotation marks. Then it will understand no matter what, because in here we have one quotation mark inside. I would like to, short form is I. So in here we have one string file, so we need to get the value of that thing as well. So that's why we using triple quotation marks. Then there's one additional function, len. So why we are using len? So you can view the docstring. Someone can see the docstring file and see the main function. Return the number of items in a container or list. So it should give us the length or the number of values in this string that we passed. So you can calculate how many items are there. It should be 42. If you calculate one by one, you will get the output as 42. So the length of our sentence variable is 42. Now this one, and you can convert this type of above float complex ints to a string using the str function. So it's like when you need to convert something into a string, you can do it instead of typing it by manually. So now what's the purpose of this one? X equals 3.3 and multiplied by 2, 6.6. And if we type, so this is the comment. So now I commented this type X. So if I need to uncomment, what should I do? Either I can use control hash. If you type control hash, it will automatically comment. Even to uncomment, you have to type the same thing. Otherwise, manually you can delete this hash mark. But the way that I recommend is, if I need to comment one place, I need to move my cursor into the line where I am going to add the comment and hit control \. You can press like Ctrl plus this mark in the keyboard. It will automatically put a hash mark in that specific part. If I uncommented this one, what will be the output? Float, because I am at the end, I am asking about type, not the value. If I comment this one, it will show me the value of X. So now let me uncomment this one and print the value. So now I am saying int X. So what will happen? Now it's assign the value, the integer part of the number. That means it's omitting 0.6 and assigning value 6 to the number, the variable X. So the type of this X should be now integer. Now after that I am saying, okay, multiply that number by 2. So when it multiplied, it should be 6 to the power 6 multiplied by 2, it should be 12. And if I print, the value should be, let me see. Oh no, what's the problem? In here I say like it's 6, it's not 6. 6 is the output. I am not assigning this one. If I assign, it will be 6. Now it should be like 3. 3, then 3 to the power 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. So that's why I say this number, because in here I didn't say, if I type this one, x equal x to the power 6, then the output will be 12. But if I didn't type that one, the output should be 3. And then I am saying, okay, now x equal 2.0. What will happen? Now what should be the output? The value of x should be like 2.0 and the type of data should be float. So if I print x, it should be 2.0. Now if I type x equal strx, what will happen? Now is converting this double type data, that means 2.0 into the string. So if I see, now you can see 2.0 inside this quotation mark. That means this is not a value. You cannot do any calculation. This is a string. So this is just a simple thing, like if you need to multiply strings. So what's the purpose of this one? I am saying like, okay, hash within bracket I am saying hash, then I am giving single quotation. That means this is a string value. And then I put multiplication mark and then say 200. What will happen? It should give me like 200 hashes. It will like iterate through the 200 hashes and show me this one. So if you calculate, this should be like 200 hashes. And then string in Python also like iterable. What does that mean? If I print sentence, last time I created the variable sentence. This is an illusion. If I print this one, it should show me this is an illusion launched by WSO. So what's the purpose of this? We use 3 quotation marks. If you type something in this 3 quotation mark, let me delete this one, these 2 quotation mark, and only put 1 quotation mark. So what will happen if I put 1 quotation mark and put this text inside over there? What will happen? You can try to do. Just try to do this one. You can delete all the other quotation and put this one in a single quotation mark. Now it's not executing because why? I break this line. If I am going to put any line breaks or anything in between a sentence, then I have to use 3 quotation marks. I cannot go with only one single quotation. I need to put 3 quotation. That's why we put 3 quotation marks. So when assigning the string variables, we have 3 options. We discussed this one previously. When we are creating string variables, we have 3 options. If we type x equal within single commas, we can use single commas. This is only effective if we are using a single line, not multiple lines. This one x equal double quotation and then we type this string. This one will also be in the string format. And if we use x equal 3 double quotations, what will happen? For this one, we can use a paragraph. If we need to type a paragraph with multiple lines, we just need to put 1, 2, 3. Here also we need to put 1, 2, 3. If we put like something in between 3 double quotation marks, we can go with multiple lines. For these things, we can only go with single line. So now if I go into the section where I say the strings, the iterability of the strings. So if we print the strings, the sentence, it will show us this is an illusion launched or something. And then if we type sentence also, it will show us in this way. If we print the sentence, it will show us the exact way that we type the sentence. But if we type only the sentence, it will show us /n. So the guys who know programming, they know what we are using /n to break the lines. If we need to break a line, we will put /n. So we should have like 2 line breaks. Here we are breaking the 1 line, and then here also we are breaking 1 line. So that's why when we are, except we have like if you use print, it will read these things. But if we directly type this one, it will not read and it will show the entire thing. That's why we are seeing 2 /n's. So if I type sentence, then within box brackets, sentence is a variable. Now I am using box bracket and giving an index in here. So if I type sentence 5, what should be the output? Now sentence is a variable. It's not any other thing. So sentence is this variable. Now I am saying sentence number for index is 5. In like fifth index of 5, what should be the value? Is giving me I. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the fifth index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because in Python we know Python we will use 0 as the first index. So if we type 0, what will be happen in here? You can type this one. You can modify the code. It's showing me T. If I type 1, it should be giving me the second value of that sentence. So this is how we can do the indexing. Now if I type sentence 0, then put two the what we call this one, 2 dots, and then if we assign 0 and 5, what will happen? Now it should give us 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 till 5. So if we execute this one, it's giving 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We are not getting 5. That means you need to remember, if we type 5, we will not, in here, we will not get the variant number. That means it's going for 4. If we type 6, then it will go till from 0 to 5. So if we type this one, what will happen? Sentence, 2 double quotation mark, then minus. Sentence, then box bracket, 2 dots, and then type -1. What will happen? It's reversing the entire thing. If we need to reverse something, we need to say, okay, read all the values from -1. So index will be going from minus side. So it should be reverse the entire sentence. So if you reverse this one, what will be happen? Then first one should be dot, then O dot S, then space, then Y, then L, then V. So this is the way you can reverse something. Yeah. Then now if we type sentence, it should be still the same because we didn't reassign the value and the type till now. Now if we say like, okay, split sentence, sentence dot split, what will happen? This is also inbuilt function. So what's the purpose of this function? Split. So that's why I say whenever you go through a code, you can like hit shift tab and view the docstring. So then you will understand, okay, this is the main purpose of this function and these are the variables that it is accepting. So these are the variables that it is accepting and this is the function name. So what's the purpose? Return a list of substrings in the string format using step as the separator. So if we type this one, what we get is saying will not split any white spaces. It will only split the places we have /n and discard as empty strings. So if we execute this one, what should we get for the split sentence? So it's splitting all the spaces. It's like splitting the sentence into words with by omitting spaces and /n's. Because when we print, we have this here we have a space, here we have a space, here we have a space, and then we have /n because it's not omitted the point value, but it's omitted /n because in docstring they mention. That's why I'm saying you need to read docstring all the time. If you see like encountered any function that you didn't even know previously, you should read the docstring function, like the docstring of that function, then you will understand. Here in here they mention that they will skip the characters including /n, /r, /t, /s and spaces. So they will separate whatever the sentence that you are going to pass into the words, and then it will give you the data type. What will be the data type of this split sentence? If I need to view the type of this one, what will be the type? So how I can view the type of this split sentence? So I can simply type, and within bracket I can say the split sentence. So do I need to type the entire name? No, if I hit tab, it should comes. Then if I hit execute, it's giving me as a list. Because here I mentioned if we need to assign a list, we should be start from the box bracket and separate everything using commas. So this is in that exact format. So it should be a list. Then if I type split sentence 2 equals x, what will happen? Now what it is doing? Split sentence 2. I say if I need to do the indexing equal to, because this is the now we are coming for the thing we call dictionaries. So to understand dictionaries, you should be able to get this concept. So in the split sentence, we have the entire list separated by these number of values. Between like commas, we have number of values. Now we are saying split sentence 2. The split sentence 2 mean what should be the value? 0, 1, 2, 3. This one is 0, this one is 1, this one is 2. So get the third value of that list and replace with x. So what will happen? 1, 2, 3. If let me execute, what will happen? See, time is, so the third value I am saying the split sentence, get the second value, that means n, and replace this one with x. So if I need to replace lunchtime in here, what should be the command? If I need to replace lunchtime with x, what should be the like y? What should be the command? Then what's the number? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it should be within bracket. It should be y. So these are the very basics. So if you get these basics, it's easy for coding. Because main thing you need to know about the basics. Sometimes you will think like, okay, I need to learn the programming language, but you didn't focus on the basics. You just directly go for the coding. Then you will say like, okay, this is too hard for me. So now if I print this sentence, it's showing me y in here. So if I say, okay, split sentence, now I am using count. Count is also inbit function. What will happen? Just see the doctor string. If you type shift tab, you will see the doctor string. Then in there is mentioned, in the doctor string is mentioned return the number of occurrences of a value. So now what we are asking? We are asking the split sentence count type. So what will it do? It will count the number of like word time reoccurred in that split sentence list. So now we only have. Okay, now also you can like how to combine two strings. There's two methods. You can like put the strings separated by either single commas and then plus put plus mark, or double quotations or triple quotations. You need to put plus mark in between each string type data, or you can use join. So it will automatically join. Now what we are doing, we are creating a simple variable a, type is integer, and now we are showing, okay, we are combining two different types of data together. One is string type, other one is integer type. Now if we need to combine that thing, we will use the percentage mark, and then we will show it will show us the value. If we use this percentage mark 6.4, that means is converting this one into a floating point value and showing the value of a. The answer is this one. If I type this, is also formatting. So this is a string. So it should print the entire thing over there, but it is formatting each value according to the format that I have given. There should be like 6 points and 4 should be decimal points. That's why we put like 6.4. That means all the number of digits in here is like 6. You can see, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of that 6, it's like there should be 4 floating points. So that's why 6.4 mean. And at the end, I am specifying F to mention this is a floating point number. And then at the end, I am saying format A in this way. So it should give me like 1, 2, and then note at the end is formatting and showing me the output. Now if I type speed equals 6, now print F and then HPA, what will happen? So now I am asking it to print. So the value of speed is 6, and within 2 I am saying like F, and then within 2 commas I am mentioning. So if it is 2 commas, it should be a string, and then I am using 2 curly brackets and mention the variable name is speed. So what's the value of speed? Is 6. So if I execute this one, it's showing me speed value 6 and the value of hectopascal. So we will use this one. Now you will think, okay, this is a small command, but you see when you are like creating some scientific graphs, and in the graph you need to mention, okay, you put the graph in here and then you will put like legend. You will put legend underneath here or in this side, but now you need to show the values. You need to show value, okay, from 0 to 1 or like 1 to 0 or something. You can say, okay, 0 to 1000, I will say 0 to 1000. Now at the end, you need to mention the units. So when we are printing the units, we will need to use something like this. So now it will be a small function, but when we are creating the plots, we will go with the same command. So this is the way we can like combine both numbers and strings together. And then list, I also discussed this one. In the list, we have different type of lists: integer list, then the string list, and then we can have multiple variable type list. So if I execute this one, what will happen? Type is a list, but inside this one, inside the list, all the value will be in integer format. So if I go inside here, all the values will be in integer format. So here you have, so that's the other thing. If you view the variables using this debugging icon, go to the debugger and show the variables, you can see 0 is the index, first point, first item of that list is 1. So how many items in that list? 6. So the length is also 6. So now if we need to create a list with strings, I discussed, when we need to create a string type variable, we need to use either single quotation, double quotation, or triple quotation. Now we are assigning this one in single quotations and separated with commas and covered with box bracket. So this one, it should give us this string. So if I reload this one, the string list, it should give me the string list. It's also the string. This string list also, the type is string, but the variable stored in there is the string. All the variables or the list items stored over there is in the string type format. Now if I need to mix, okay, in that list I need to mix decimal numbers, floating point values, and sentence and everything. So how I can create such kind of list? So now you know how to create different type of data formats. So if I type 1 in between 2 box bracket, the main thing if you need to create a list is like box bracket. You need to use box bracket to create a list type data. In the inside this one, right now I am mentioning, okay, 1. So this one will create first index 0, 0 equal 1, and the data type will be int. And then the next one, second index 1 equal 1 point. I put 1 point. I mentioned if you need to go with floating, there are 2 ways. Either you can put 1 dot, or you can type 1 dot the number of decimal places you need. If you put simply 1 dot, it will convert into a floating point number. And now if we type 2 plus 3j, is a complex type data. And then we have the string, and then we have another string. So the difference between this one is we mentioned, if you put in single quotation or double quotation, it will be string, but only span across single line. But if you're going with multiple lines, here you see the long sentence is in another line. So if we need to combine these things, we need to use 3 double quotations in between 3 double quotation marks. So this one will create a list with mixed item. So here you can see first index is 1, second index is also 1, then the second one is the complex number 2 plus 3j, and then last one is also a string. So you can view this one by typing mixed list. When you type it, it will show 1, 1.0, 2 plus j, sentence, and then sentence. Type mixed list 0. Like if I type this one, what will happen? What's the output? I mentioned, no matter what, if you type something in between type, it should give the what's the final output. If you type something inside this command, type, if you type something, what will happen? As the output is only giving you the data type. No matter what you are passing, it will give you the data type. Now the next thing that you have to solve is saying mixed list. So the variable name is mixed list. Over there, go for the index number 0. So the index number 0 from here you can see is 1. But right now you know the data format. If I type this one and execute, it should give me integer. But if I type 1, what should be the output? Is float. If I type 6, it should give me an error. Why? No, 6 is saying list index out of range, because there's no index that much long, because we only have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I type 4 is giving me as a string, because from here I can see first index, second index, third index, fourth index is like string. And then accessing element and slicing list. So now you need to know how you can slice the list, because in NumPy we can load the entire thing. Like just imagine you have when it comes to like pandas and NumPy going alone with together. So in pandas you can read the tabular data. In tabular data you will have all the temperature variables in first column. So we will extract this first column and install it in a list. We can store them in a list. Now you have to manipulate that list. So right now these are the basics for those libraries. So in that when we are discussing those libraries, I will not going to discuss these things. You need to remember list item 0. So this one is like indexing, how we can get the specific item in the list. We are accessing the first element in that list. So if I type this one, it should be integer list. In integer list, I can open this variable explore and go with the integer list. I know the first value is 1. If I type -1, it's going reverse, because you know values are going from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I go -1, -2, -3, it's going reverse. That means it should go like this: -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So there's two ways of accessing. Either you can go with minus, either you can go with positive. But for easy access, we are using positive. But if I type -1, what should I get? The last value. The same way, if I type -2 or -3, if I type -3, what should I get? Fourth value. So there's two ways. Either you can type the positive integer or you can type the negative integer. But you need to know about the trick. So in the positive way, it should go like this. If it is negative, it should start from last to first. But if I type -6 or something, it will not give me output. It will also show me the same thing. Now -6, it will give, what will happen? It will keep repeat. So after this one, -5, -6. It will go like a loop. If you go from the minus side, if I can type -10. No, it's giving me index out of range, because no. In here I have No, actually it's not going with the minus values, but in the int list, how many values I have? Int list I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I reverse, it should have like minus 6. But minus 7, I don't think that I can go with minus 7. It should give me index out of, yeah, out of range. Minus 6 is the first value. So same way I can access, there's two ways. If I type 0, the same way I can get the list first value. Even minus 6, I can get the first value. And int list, all minus, this is reversing the entire list. So entire list will be reversed. So last time the list is from 1 to 6, now 6 to 1. If you put like 2 dots and then what we call this one, 2 colons and then put minus at the end, it will reverse the list. And int list is, this is the original form and this is the reversed form. This is the reverse form. And then int list reverse. There are two ways of reversing. Either you can type this way or you can type the command. So how to view the doctrine? Shift tab, you will see the main function of this one is reverse whatever the thing in place. In the same way I can reverse the list. And then int list it will reverse. And then what is this? Now I have created something separated between two box brackets. Inside also I have like some box brackets. So now what will happen? Inside the list I have two separate lists. So that means you can create list inside list as well. So within two box bracket, if you separate using commas, this will be the first list and this will be the second list. So the first list also I have some values and in the second list also I have some values. This is like, this will be like what if we go with the table format, it will be like we are importing two columns into one list. So this will be the first column and this will be the second column. So likewise, if you have multiple columns, you can get all the column values into one single list and do with your calculation. So if I print this one, what will happen? Now I am mentioning type of x0. x0 is what? So x is a list. In x0 mean is asking for the first index. So in here I have two items. Both are list. So this should be list. Even if I type 1, it should give me list because two items are there. From here also you can see what's the value I assign? X. So if you see, X is a list, 0 is also list, 1 is also list. That's why I go with Jupyter Lab. In Jupyter Notebook, you don't have this function. You cannot view your variable and everything. But in here, if you click on this bug icon, it will show all the variables you have loaded. And then how to flatten a list. If you need to flat a list, you can import this one, this toolbox. This will be, we will not use this one to flatten something, but this is just the basics. So I will not discuss that much. And the other thing is append. Append mean what? You can view the docstring. Just view the append. What's the docstring? Even from the meaning, you can like recognize what will happen. You can like add item to the list. At the end of the list, if you need to add an item, you can use the word append, the function append. So integer list, what's the value of integer list? So if I type int space, I like from this one also, if you loaded any variable, you need to know, okay, from int, what are the variables or anything that I have created is loaded, you can press tab. Just type first few lines like I know is I is starting from int. If I type int and hit tab, it will show me this is a class, but this is the instance. That means the variable that I have created. So I can simply select this one. I don't need to type the entire variable name. I can simply type this and then hit enter. So this is the list right now. So now what I am saying, okay, append 7. So if I type this one, what will happen? Now if I view the list, at the end 7 should be added. So no matter what, if I type append within bracket, I can assign the any type of variable and say okay, like append this one at the end of the list. So it's not going for a specific place, it's appending at the very end of that list. And then int list, if I view the int list, now I am saying int list 0 equal to, now what will happen? Now what will happen? Now what I am going to do? I am going to replace one number in that list. So this will be useful. Just imagine when you are importing like temperature values from the stations, you will see in some places we have like NaN value, none values. But when we are going with the calculation, sometimes it will give you error, not the none values. Sometimes you will see 0 as value, because that means over that place we don't have values. But before the calculation, we need to replace all of these 0 values with none or any other value. To replace, to do such kind of operation, you need to understand this basic syntax. So if you understand this basic syntax, you can like replace the values inside the list, like 0 into a text value or anything. Then you can do with the calculation. So what it will do, integer list within box bracket I am saying 0. So I am accessing the first list item in that list. So the first item is 6 and assign 2. What will happen? 6 will be removed and it will be replaced with 2. So if I type the list, now it's replaced. So if I count in list count 2, what will happen? I discussed about this one in the count command. What will it do? No matter what, within bracket, if I assign something, it will count how many times that thing is occurred. So now it will count how many times 2 is occurred. In here we have 2 times. So if I type this one, I can replace the second place also with the 2. Now what will happen? 2, 2, 4, 3, 2, 1, 7 will be there. So if I execute the count, it will say 3 times. So shipping also I am not going to discuss, but you can like go with the list, because here we have to discuss more things. If I go to discuss all the things, it will take more time. So I will skip some things, like not all the things, I will skip. So this is also a small thing. It's not that much big of a thing. Like you can see A equal list range 5. What will happen? A equal range 5. So range is a command. So what it will do? Range is saying range object. It will give values from 0 to 5. If you assign okay 5, that means is creating values from 0 to 5 and storing in a list. If I execute this one, what will happen? Range is 5. Go from 0 to 5, but not the 5. At the end, last time I say, if we mention something like 0, semicolon 5, it will not go for fifth element, but it will return 4. But the total count will be 5, because it's starting from 0. So now it's creating a list. This is like the way to create a random list. What will happen if I type 10 in here? 0 to 9, it will create a random list from 0 to 9. And it will show me. Now list range. Now I am specifying the range. Now what will happen? Range from 5 to 0. Because in here in the docstring they mention we can go from range. Start, we can assign start and then stop. Separated using 2 commas. Otherwise, I can directly give the stopping value. If I give the stopping value, first time I give only the stopping value. So it will stop at 10. But right now I am assigning, okay, this is the starting point and this is the ending point, separated by 2 commas. Now, in this function, what it will do? If you understand the docstring, if you read the docstring, you can see, okay, this will be happen at the end. So what it will happen? It will create a list starting from which number? 5 to 9. It will not go for 9. If you at the end I am asking, okay, semicolon is, why we are using a semicolon in here? Guys who are familiar with coding, they know. It will break the line. If we need to break the line, we need to put a semicolon. If I delete this semicolon, what will happen? Now it's like the compiler reading this entire line as a single command. So it will give me an issue. If I need to do something like this, then I have to shift enter this one, not shift enter, I have to enter this command. Because if I enter this one, it will understand, okay, this is a separate command because this is starting from a new line. But if I am typing the same command in the same line, it will give me an issue. Just, okay, let me delete this one and show, okay. Now the semicolon is not there. I am trying to execute this one. It is saying print B, invalid syntax, because I didn't separate. So there's two ways. If you need to type the entire command in a single line, you need to put the breaking points using semicolon. Otherwise, you need to break them using a line. So now it will generate another list from 5 to 9. So here I will create the list to 5, otherwise it will give me error. So now A plus B, what will happen if I type A plus B? Now you know, list A, the value of list A is this and value of list B is this. Now A plus B, you can execute and see the command, what will happen. If you execute this cell, you can execute using the shift enter. What happened? Just at the to list. Now if I type something like this, the same thing, A equal list, range from this one, B equal range from this one, print A, print B, A plus B, same command. And then if I type list zip A and B, what is happening? If I type zip AB, so you know list AB, you can like view the list A and B. Let me add 2 cells underneath to show you the A and B. So what's the values of A? 0.20 to 5, and what's the values of B? 5 to 9. So if we type list, that means you can view the docstring of list. Build a mutable sequence, that means create an empty list. Whenever you need to create an empty list, you can simply type list and then within bracket. So this will create an empty list. So now inside that list, I need to zip these two values. If I print like zip, what will happen? Now we are coming for the dictionaries. In like next section, we will discuss about dictionaries, because in dictionaries we need to have the instead of index we will have a value. So if we need to call for a variable, we will call for that variable name. When we call for that variable name, instead of the, it will give us the value. Last time we call like sentence within box bracket 0, no? So we call from indexing. Now we are going to replace this index to a name. So if we replace this to a name, it will be much easier. So we don't need to repeat, okay, if we have a huge amount of list, we need to remove like keep in our memory the entire list. So to zip this one, we can use zip. If we view the docstring of the zip command, what it is doing, zip object is n length tuple where n is the number of libraries passes at the position argument and zip. So simply what it is doing, 0, 5. So it's combining these two values together and create one tuple, and the second tuple will be 1, 6, and the third will be 2, 7, and the fourth will be 3, 8, then 4 will be 4, 9. So then the tuples. So int tuple, this one, if I view the command, now you need know how we can see inside of a variable. There's two ways. Either we can print the variable or we can directly type the variable name. So I can print int, directly type int and tab. I will need to view tuples. So it will show me this one. So when you are creating tuple, what's the difference between tuple and list? When you are creating a list, you use box bracket. When you are creating tuple, you will use brackets. You will use brackets. So there's two ways. I can either go with this way or I can go this way. Int tuple 2 to 4. This is like indexing. 2 to 4 mean it should give me the indexing point like 3 to 4. So it will show me 0, 1, 2 is starting from 3 to 5. Then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will not show me the fifth position, it will show me the fourth position. That means 6. So next, this is like indexing. We can directly call index 2. So if we call index 2, what will happen? Just view the docker string. Return the first index of a value. So if I type index 2, what it is giving me? What does it mean? This is the other way around. Last time I access, if I create the tuple 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the values, no? Now the index will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the index. So from the index I access the values. Now I need to know, okay, if I type the value, it should give me. If the value is there, just give me the index of that value. Now what it is doing? It is checking for value 2 and giving me the index. So in this tuple, what's in where I have the value 2? In this position. So what's the index corresponding to that value? 2. So it should give me 2. Likewise, if I type int tuple index 4, what it should give me? Here if I type int tuple, then index, if I type 4, what should it return to me? From here you can see, I am asking about fourth value. What's the value? In this one, I am not this one, I am asking about this, 4. It should give me 0, 1, 2, 4 is not there. So if I type this one, it should give me an error. Because value 4 is not in that tuple list. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 is not there. But if I type 5, what will happen? From the error you can see tuple index x. X is not a tuple because the value 5 is not over there. But if I type 5, what will happen? It's giving me 3. Why? 0, 1, 2, 3. So the index of this one is. So if you have a large list, but you need to recognize, okay, where is this number is located, which index. So you can use .index command to find the index of that specific number. And this is also a way you can create a tuple. You can directly separate numbers using commas to create a tuple. Int tuple 0, this is like indexing and replacing. So what the same thing. What will this thing do? Int tuple 0 is the index. 0 is the index, that means 1, and replace it with 1. So what we can say, tuples are not mutable. That means if we create a tuple variable, we cannot reassign values. But for the list we can do, but for the tuples we cannot reassign. So you need to know about these things when you are creating the variables as well. So for some specific variables we can replace, but for some specific variables we cannot replace. For the tuples we cannot replace. So the typical command, last time we did this one. If it is sentence 0, it will access the first letter of that sentence and replace with the letter that we assign, letter or any value that we assign. But in tuples, if we are going to replace the first index value with something, it will not replace because tuple object type is not supporting assignment of new values. So from the error, now you can read the errors. So this kind of error, you don't need to put it into a ChatGPT or something, you know what's the issue. That's what I'm saying, like this kind of thing, if you put into a ChatGPT, it will confuse and give you some confusion. But now if you can understand this kind of small errors, you don't need to go with ChatGPT or any AI again and again. Now next thing is list compression. Should I continue or we can start tomorrow? Because here we have some other things like logical operators, less than, equal. You guys know about this thing or should I need to discuss this thing? Then we can discuss these things tomorrow, because you need to know about these things, the logical operators.